Dunamis woman. It says rotate your device. You can't turn your phone.
Oh, because you can't. Oh, there it is.
There it
It's
is.
on.
Well, welcome to the show. D Speaks You Think. I am Dunamis D, and I am a Dunamis woman, and we are right here on Rolling Out Live. We got a great show for you today, and it's going to be real awesome. It's going to be powerful. It's going to be dynamic, because that's what dunamis means. It's a dynamic term. It's the English term dynamic for dunamis, and it means a miracle itself. So if you're watching here, just know if you're a woman, you are a miracle. If you're a man, you are a miracle, because every miracle have come through the womb of a powerful woman. And that's why we celebrate women. That's why we honor our men. So as you can see, or if you can hear me, you see a beautiful black woman, queen. I mean, she's just doing it. And this is the one and only Brandi Harvey. Brandi, how you doing?
I'm wonderful. How are you? Thank you for having me.
Oh, well, thank you for being here. Time is precious, and I appreciate your time.
Yeah, I wore my kente for this. You know, you said I was powerful, strong. I was channeling Ya Asantewa today. You know, great warrior of the Asante Kingdom. Yeah, that was also my Halloween costume this year. So I wore the kente for y'all.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, you in the right place. Because dunamis is where we come from. We come from power. We come from riches. We come from Africa. You know what I mean? So
yes.
You're representing. Tell us what Brandi Harvey is up to in this day and hour.
It's almost like, what am I not up to? Because I think I have my hand in so many things right now. But as the founder of Beyond Her, you know, I started my active wellness brand for women of color after I was fired from my job. So I want people to know, like, you know what, there is light at the end of the tunnel.
Yes.
You know? And so really my mission and goal is really to educate, teach, inspire, empower Black women and women of color to take care of their health, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. It's all connected.
Yes,
and so everything that we do, everything that we speak, everything that we eat is all connected. And so if I can get women to understand that and take control of their power, that we have the power to heal our lives, that's really what I've been up to.
That's what you're up to.
I've been up to that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like nothing super major.
But that's not even a lot of work.
Lives.
That's it. and it's not a lot of work, because it's your purpose. And you love doing it.
It doesn't feel like work.
It's not
It
work.
really is my gift, you know, and it took me such a long time. I think throughout your 20s, you spend so much time trying to, you know, find it, you know, find what am I supposed to be doing? I know I'm supposed to be doing something with my life, you know. At 25, I remember saying I was having like a quarter life crisis, you know.
At 25?
At 25.
Lord
yeah.
Jesus.
As soon as I turned 25, I was like, I'm having a quarter life crisis.
I had that at 55, which was a month ago.
So, you know, it's been a journey, you know, it's just been a real journey, you know, to get to this point. And so in my 30s, you know, I started to really take control of my mental and emotional health.
Yes,
and so that became such a priority for me. And then over the last 2 years, it's just been the biggest focus of my life is how to heal my life.
Yeah.
You know, and not just physically, because I've been into health and wellness since I was 19 years old. And so from that, you know, just emotionally healing, you know, mentally healing from the traumas that you didn't realize were traumas. The stuff that you've been carrying that you didn't realize you've been carrying. You've been sweeping it under the rug. You know,
it starts to stink, and you be like, where's that coming from?
And that's you. As Martin Lawrence says. That's you. Martin Lawrence said, "You're so crazy." That's you.
No, that's your shit.
That's you. That's you. That's it.
That's what it is. I love it because emotional healing is my breath.
Yeah.
You know, I'm even embarking upon my first tour in 2019, emotional healing for my soul.
Yeah.
You know, so the topic that we're talking about today, how to love the mind, body, and soul of woman, I believe we're talking about ourselves.
Oh,
you know,
absolutely.
Not looking at it from a man at this point, but we're looking at from within and within ourselves.
Absolutely.
But before we get into that, I want to have a brief discussion, because you know, you said in the beginning, you said, you know, what am I not doing? I'm doing a lot, you know, and I get that all the time. D, what are you doing? You know, you're doing a lot, and a lot of people just don't get it, you know, but I get it, and I know you get it. So what have been your experiences when people saying, or fact that you are doing a lot? Do you get any feedback, like, really, what are you doing? And
you know what, I'm not busy like I was before, you know, and so much of my life before was about being busy.
Yes.
You know, And so I was, traveling. I was gone when I was in the office and being the executive director of my family's foundation at one point. I was gone, out of town multiple times a week. So I was getting on a flight every week. I was not really at home. I wasn't really consistently being here. So I wasn't consistently in my workouts the way I wanted to be. I wasn't consistent with, the relationships that I wanted to have that were meaningful. And so before I was busy.
Yes.
Because I was so busy running from things. I was so busy. I didn't want to face certain things. I didn't want to be at the house. So,
you stay busy.
Yeah, you just stay gone. Oh, girl, I always got something to do. And you really ain't doing nothing.
You ain't doing nothing.
But spinning your wheels.
Correct.
And so I just stopped being busy.
Yeah.
And so when I say I'm doing a lot of my time is spent by myself. It's very introspective. I spend a lot of time being alone. And I've really become very comfortable with being alone.
Yes.
And before I wasn't comfortable being alone. And I'm a twin, so I was born into the world with a partner.
Yes.
So, and she is my best friend. I really enjoy spending time with my sister. I love spending time with, my nephew and my family. But I've really become so comfortable with being alone and being quiet and being still and being present. And so it took a minute to get there because I didn't understand that God was found in the stillness.
Yes.
My answers were found when I got quiet.
Yes.
And so many of us don't find the answers in our lives because we're not quiet. We got everybody else filling our heads with stuff. We got everybody else telling us what we should be doing. Oh, girl, you should do that. You should start that. You should be that. You look on Instagram. Oh, I'm not doing enough of my life. I'm not goals. I'm not jet setting this week. Oh, she always traveling. She always gone. But I stopped looking at other people as these pictures of success. And I really started to look at myself and say, okay, well, how do I want to live my quality of life? And the bags and the shoes became less and less important.
Yes,
my time at Neiman's became less and less.
Brandi.
My time at Saks became less and less. They stopped knowing me in those places the way they used to know me in those places. And I was okay with that, When I changed my diet in particular, so many things changed. When I, completely made the transition to a plant-based vegan life, the places I used to go, I couldn't go there anymore because they didn't even serve me, right? They didn't serve the kind of food.
Yes.
But they also didn't serve my spirit.
Yes.
When I gave up alcohol, I couldn't go to the place I used to go. I knew all the happy hours, all the bottomless brunch spots on Sundays. I could sit there all day with a carafe of mimosas and drink myself into a stupor. And then Monday try to get myself out of the fog and the haze. And then do it all over again so I could start on Thursday, sitting at Maggiano's at the bar with my homegirls drinking wine. And then margaritas on Friday, and then tacos and margaritas on Saturdays. And then, so it was like always this cycle of things that I was doing to feel my life because I wasn't filled internally.
Yes.
And when I started to focus my work on the inside and who I was on the inside, well, then the outside, that's when the glow up happened. Yeah. That's when everybody was talking about, oh, girl, you didn't glow. Oh, girl, I see your pictures, girl, on Instagram. It's a glow up. Well, the glow up happened because of the grow up.
Yeah. Oh, come on now.
I had to grow up.
You have to grow up.
I had to grow up.
You have to grow up. What was that? I mean, because I understand. I'm with you 1,000%. We walk in hand. But for you, what was that process like? Because if you look at it, everybody mostly, I'm not going to say all, but in general, we are so busy.
Yeah.
Busy doing what people on Facebook, busy. We doing stuff just
posting
busy.
Your food.
You just busy.
I'm
like, what the hell?
Nobody want to see your nasty looking plate, that struggle plate. Stop posting your struggle plate. And stop posting stuff on styrofoam plates. We don't want to see it.
It's just busy. And I'm like, okay, what's your purpose? I mean, what not what's your purpose for posting? What is your life purpose?
Yeah.
What meaning? Where have you found your center? Where have you found yourself? What was that? Because I'm by myself. I love being by myself. I'm from Chicago. Had started my journey probably 20-something years, but I've been in Atlanta for 2 years, and I don't know anyone here, and I love being by myself. You know what I mean? I love being in my space. If you come in there too loud and disrupt my atmosphere, I'm gladly to see you go. You know what I mean? And that's family. That ain't friends. That's family. I'm telling you right now.
Most of it's family.
Most of it's family. So I love it.
Most of the toxic people in our lives tend to be our family.
Tends to be a family.
Yeah.
What was your first process? What was your first step that you said, Brandi, you got to do this?
You know what? I think it's just been a journey. You know, I think, you know, it wasn't, I think, one step, because I started in health and wellness at 19 because my father told me on spring break that I was fluffy, and I didn't know what fluffy meant. And so I got back to Hampton and was like, oh, fluffy, you think he mean fat? And so
he put it a nice way.
So I started getting unfluffy, you know, at 19. And then that led me to make all these different changes, to be a fitness competitor, a group fitness instructor, a personal trainer, you know, do meal deliveries and meal press for people when I first moved to Atlanta over 11 years ago. You know, so all these things kind of, you know, put puzzle pieces, you know, down for me. 6 years ago, I started going vegan. I started going plant-based and started that lifestyle. And then 2.5 years ago, I made the full commitment that I would not eat any more animal products. And when I made that switch, you know, that's when it clicked for me.
Okay.
It clicked because it was in that moment I realized that it was all connected, that I was taking in things. I was a living, breathing human being, right? Life giver, right. And I was taking in death.
Yeah.
And so when I stopped taking death in, well, then it started to click that in order to make my life full and whole, I had to do other things, right? And so I made a full commitment to therapy over 1.5 years ago, and I go to therapy every single week.
You're talking about THERAPY therapy?
I'm talking about therapy like I sit on the couch.
You sit on the couch?
Yeah.
Wait a minute, are you a black woman?
I'm a black woman.
And you in therapy?
I sit on the couch every week.
Now, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. I'm speaking from a coaching perspective now, because
every week.
With emotional healing and emotional healing, particularly for us as black women, is essential.
It's
and we have to go through that.
Therein lies our freedom.
And we have to go through that therapeutic process. Healing, according to the Greek term, is therapeuo.
Yeah.
And our English term is therapy. But to get us to sit in therapy, to go through that process is like...
Because we've been told, and I was told this. I remember, when I first moved out to Los Angeles right after college, and I was living with my father, and we were really trying to reconnect a relationship that had really been severed, due to abandonment. And my mom got a divorce when I was young, and so my adolescent years, he was non-present, non-existent. Financially, he was there. He always took care of us financially, but emotionally, he was gone.
Yes.
And from that, it left so many scars on me.
Now.
It left so many things. And then everybody said, well, you should just get over it. And I remember my sister and I were in a room, and my sister was like, we just need therapy. And my dad was like, black people ain't got no time for no therapy. Black people ain't got time for that. You just get over it. And I remember it stuck with me that you just get over it.
You just get over it.
And so when I would have these episodes and bouts of dealing with my abandonment, because I didn't know how to call it abandonment.
Right.
I didn't know what to call it. I didn't know that I was suffering as a woman from abandonment from the first man who was supposed to love me, care for me, and protect me.
Yes.
And so then I was seeking that out in other relationships. So I got into a relationship with a man who was the same age as my father. He could have been my father. And I stayed in a relationship with him for years because I didn't realize that everything that he was giving me, I just needed my daddy.
You wanted your daddy. I have screwed my daddy looking for him.
Listen, all the time. And you sitting up here wondering why these relationships never quite work out. They never quite can be what you want them and dream them to be. Well, because you haven't sat down and got in the nitty-gritty, in the ugly parts of your soul. See, we can around things that we keep sweeping under and saying, well, it's okay, I'm just going to get over it. Well, hell, I didn't know how to get over it.
Or either, Brandi, we mask all this bull crap in religion. You know what I'm saying?
Religion, retail therapy. Some of y'all is one click in y'all life away. Y'all is a one click away.
If you buy another shoe, if you go shop at another again, you know what I mean?
Closet busted. Because I knew I was there.
Yes,
I bought my way. I shopped my way. I drank my way. I slept my way.
I screwed my way.
Absolutely.
Sex is a part of it
It's
too.
A part of it.
It's a part of it because I love it because that abandonment issues, let's talk about it because I share that sentiment with you, and that was not my deepest root abandonment. Yeah. And in my book, I wrote It Begins With Daddy because it begins with that father. Although they paying that child support and they all that, these kids need that emotional stimulation from the man. The first man in their life was that father.
Yeah.
let's talk about abandonment issues. What was your first eye-opening of the abandonment issue?
I started looking at the relationships that I was in, like, and I really had to journal, you know, and especially like I've gone through, this is like my fourth journal over the last year, right? And so I write all the time about my feelings and things that are going on in my life. And even when I had to do this in therapy and exercise, you know, I had to go back and look at I had two very, you know, great loves of my life. The first one was when I was 17 years old, and we stayed in a relationship through college and all that kind of stuff. And he recently passed away last month, which was extremely like heartbreaking for me because he played such a role in my grow up, you know. Yeah. And then the older gentleman who I was in a relationship with, and when I looked at those relationships, I was clinging. The first one, we clung to each other because he had mommy issues, and he was abandoned by his mother, and I was abandoned by my father. So I was looking for him to be my daddy, and he was looking for you to be his mama. And then when I got with the older gentleman, it was because I was so seeking the advice and counsel of my father, and he was never available to give that to me. And so I sought that out through him, and so he was always available. And every time he said he would do something, he did it. And he always showed up, and he was always on time, and he was always consistent. And so I stayed in that relationship, not understanding that I was looking for something far deeper than he really could have ever given me, but he loved me. And so when I started to uncover those things, it made me understand that the abandonment root was so, you know, the root causes, you know, it's the root cause of what, you know, if you don't dig up the root, you're never gonna understand what the problem is.
And you have to put the axe at the root.
Yeah.
A lot of us are trying to deal with surface, and that's why we stay busy and we keep ripping and we keep running and we keep eating and we keep screwing and we keep going and we keep people are so emotionally eating.
Yeah.
Food can become that therapy. And that's why I commend you, because even in my process of emotional healing, I had to change my diet. I had to change my whole life, my whole perspective of what I thought was right for me. You know?
Sure.
Well, we're going to take a break. We're going to come right back with Brandi Harvey. She is speaking my language. I'm loving her. I'm loving me some Brandi, because it's hard out here to find black women who want to be emotionally healed. And eat right and love themselves. Oh, my God. I'm about to shout. Okay?
We'll run it. You'll take a lap around.
We're going to take a lap. No, but it's all good. But we're going to come right back. Stay tuned. We got more for you on D Speaks You Think right here on Rolling Out Live. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Brandi Collins, your spiritual leader and life and relationship coach. And I'm so excited because I have an awesome show that's just for you right here on Rolling Out Live. Yes, that's it, Rolling Out Live, every Tuesday from 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. You were going to get insight, because when D speaks, you think. We're going to have real talk about life and relationships, because we got real problems, we got some real issues, but guess what? When D speaks, you think you're going to come up with the real solution about your life and relationships. So I want you to join me. Don't forget, every Tuesday from 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. on Rolling Out Live, and I have a special segment just for you. It's called Dear D. That means you can ask your questions. You can get insight about your life with specificity. So I want you to join me, because it's going to be live. And follow me on Facebook at Dunamis D. And you can also hit me up or follow me on Instagram at D Speaks You Think. See you soon.
What's up, guys? This is Lipstick and Cognac. Starting on Tuesday, you guys will be on rollingout.com and on our Facebook page, giving you all the tea you need for relationships. Here to help you out, man. Make sure y'all tune in from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Want to watch your favorite talk show, Lipstick and Cognac. Here with that dynamic duo. You don't want to miss Lipstick, Shadio Comics, and just Cognac Till Like It Is personality, man. It's going to be a great time. Make sure y'all tune in. Tune in on rollingout.com. There's ROLLINGOUT.com. And also on Facebook, Rolling Out Facebook, man. It's going to be a great time. Y'all don't want to miss this. Great laugh, great talks, realness, truth. Man, we ain't really some expert. We know what we talking about. So make sure y'all tune in. rollingout.com, man. Lipstick and Cognac.
Well, welcome back right here. D Speaks You Think. I am Dunamis D Collins, and I am here on Rolling Out Live. And we've been having some awesome discussion. OMG, we typically focus on raising the voice of our real awesome men here on Rolling Out Live. If you haven't noticed, if you're a constant viewer, But we're not discriminating amongst women because I am a woman. I am a dunamis woman. But I'm going to tell y'all the truth, real talk. It is very, very hard, Brandi, to find women because healing is the core of who I am. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I can't engage with Shiloh. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Conversations when I'm really an emotional healing hype. You know what I mean? And you haven't made certain changes in your life. I'm not here just to be talking. You know what I mean? So that's why I appreciate you and even saying yes to coming on Rolling Out Live, because not only are you speaking the language, but I admire you because you're not all that uppity woman. No, I'm so serious.
Listen.
We as black women, if we're not emotionally healed, we become sedity. We become uppity, particularly in the land of ATL.
The land, the home of the thousandaire.
Trying to be millionaires.
Atlanta is the home of the thousandaire. Everybody balling, but you shower at the LA Fitness. Stop it. Cut it out.
But the thing is, I know that I'm here for a purpose, because a lot of our pains and a lot of our roots of where we need the emotional healing, because we come from South. You know what I mean? We have been victimized through our ancestors of the slavery
absolutely.
And all those things. And that's why emotional healing for us, because we have to do this for our children and our children's children.
Yeah. And that's it. I mean, the reason why I made the commitment to therapy and healing my life was because I wanted to heal my life for my unborn children.
There you go. Come on.
I wanted to heal my life for my children's children.
Yes.
Because I knew that I saw the mistakes of my grandmother and those generational curses. I saw that upon my mother.
Yes.
I saw those things happen. And so I said, okay, I'm not married. I don't have children. There's a reason for this. I have time to get myself together so I don't impart that same, way of thinking, that same unlovable, way of thinking and mindset onto my children.
Yes,
because there was so many things that I saw my mom struggle with self-esteem that was passed on from her mother and her grandmother. You see it.
You see it.
It's so deeply rooted.
If you really want truth, you will see it.
Yeah.
But in seeing it, you have to face it for yourself.
And that's ugly.
And it don't make your mom a bad mother.
Absolutely
it don't make
not.
your grandmother. And my mom died with damages. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Went to church, can sing how great that out, first soprano, can cook, all kind of
all
things.
the cliches,
all
the scriptures.
But she didn't like my daddy.
Yeah.
Couldn't stand him. You know what I mean? And I'm still impacted because I had to say, you know what? I can't even blame her. I got to look at myself.
Yeah.
Because I am a curse breaker for my children and my children's children, and I don't want my daughters. And you met one of them at the
Queen's thing back
Miss
in
Black,
July.
back in July. And you sound so much like her as far as being unmarried and not having any children and to get it right for her children.
Yeah.
So we're just emotional healing hypes, me and my two daughters.
Yeah.
Because I'm breaking that curse that they don't experience the level of pain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? From what I not only did not have, but what their father did not have.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because daughters do attract their fathers.
Oh my God, absolutely.
Talk about that. Because I know I talk about it all the time. I don't very seldom have a woman who know how to talk about that.
Yeah, every relationship that I was getting into, if you were doing something for me, financially, well, he helped me, girl, he be doing this, or he bought me this, or he took me here, or he took me there, or he bought me this plane. You know what I'm saying? It was all these things that I started because my father was always showed his love by what he could do. So, and he's very much in that old school sense, and people know him. I mean, you might have heard of him. His name is Steve Harvey, For
real? But I ain't never heard of him, girl. I ain't never heard of him.
You might have heard of him once or twice. He's like a bald-headed black man that's like on your TV.
I watch Family Feud all the time.
But it was those things that really kept me kind of trapped because I wanted. I just thought, well, he provides, he does stuff for you. What's the problem?
Yes,
and I look at so many of these girls now on Instagram. I look at so much of these, these social media influencers.
Yeah. Come on, Brandi.
They have all these followers.
I'm gonna let you speak it since your last name is Harvey. You can go there. Go ahead.
But they, they would, as they would say, they would much rather cry in the Phantom than they would in the Nissan. you know, but I don't want to cry.
Right.
I don't want to have to go. You know, when I was younger, I thought it had to be drama to be in a relationship. We had to be arguing, crazy in love, fighting. I got to be showing up at your house 3 o'clock in the morning, beating on the door.
Then we make some make love
know,
sex, make up
Girl,
sex. Woo, that was some good stuff.
And it was like, nah, like I refuse. I refuse. And so I think that it's like if you're a woman and you kind of find yourself trapped, you know, and it wasn't just the men. You know, for me, it was alcohol, it was shopping, it was food.
Yes.
You know, it was all these things that I was deeply connected to. You know, I was the life of the party. I wouldn't go anywhere without drinking. If I went somewhere and they didn't have alcohol, I was pissed. I was so mad. I was like, I remember going to a baby shower and they had no alcohol, and I was like, I'm sorry, where is the wine? You don't have nothing. I went around the girl house like,
I know you got something.
What are you doing with this wine? Are you saving it for something? Because it's clearly a special occasion, you know? And I was so, you know, like, not understanding that. I was drinking myself, numbing myself, trying to numb the pain, being around people who I couldn't be around sober, because that would, you know, that meant I would have to actually deal with my feelings with these people. You know, I couldn't show up not being high off weed. I couldn't show up, you know, without alcohol, because if I did, that meant I would have to actually confront my feelings. And so in this day and time, you know, I don't drink alcohol. I stopped smoking marijuana because it was like, I feel all my feelings, and I'm not trying to cope my way through life, you know? And like when I tell people all the time, like I show up sober, like that wasn't always my thing. It was like I wanted to show up high as hell out my mind, because it was like, I don't really like them like that.
But you know what? I was just telling Michelle on our way here, you know, I'm with myself, and I know my issues. I know my idiosyncrasies. I know my strengths, my weaknesses, and I've come to discover, Brandi, I like me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All my feelings that I have to face, they don't feel good, but I like them because I can face them.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It's the only way you're going to be able to get to the next level.
It's the only way.
It's the only way. Everybody talks about, I love these people, they so woke. You know, black people, we love to be so woke. They be so woke, I'm woke. You know, look at my Facebook post, look at my Instagram, I'm woke. And you was like, but you still sleep. You still sleep because you don't understand that it's all connected. That you're sleeping with somebody for money. You're a prostitute.
Yeah.
You're sitting up here. You're drowning yourself in alcohol.
And we have a lot of people who are prostitutes that are not getting paid.
Listen,
they're not.
And you are just emotionally. You're paying with your peace.
I gave so much ass away for free. It's ridiculous.
Lord have mercy.
I'm so serious.
Hey, me too.
You know,
me
so
too.
How can I go out here and judge somebody on the corner who at least get $1?
Okay,
you know what I'm saying? Or at least get their nails done.
Listen, but then when you understand the spiritual part of it, right?
Yes.
So how much am I losing at this? Because see, when I'm by myself, when he leaves,
come on now,
when he gets out the bed, when he don't stay because he got to go home to his wife, when all these things happen, right? And I'm left alone to my own devices, and I'm left alone to deal with myself.
Yes.
Well, now, that's a whole task at hand. So now if I'm not filling my time with other people, if I'm not filling my time with the club, if I'm not filling my time with shopping, that means I have to face myself.
I have to face myself.
And what therapy did for me was it helped me face myself. It was like, look, this is real, and it's okay, because you're not alone. You're not the only one who's felt this way. You're not the only one who was abandoned by their father. You're not the only one who was damaged by men. You're not the only one who's drank themselves to a stupor. You're not the only one who felt inadequate. You're not the only one who was rejected. You're not the only one who had low self-esteem. No. You're not the only one.
You're not the only one who was promiscuous.
You're
not the only one. We as a black race are the highest on the stats of everything.
Yeah.
Kidney failure.
Yeah.
Divorce. Women, 80% household, raising families no child was gotten by themselves, so that means lack of fathering. Obesity.
Breast cancer.
Come on now.
HIV.
Come on now. Talk about it.
Ovarian cancer.
Yes. It all is because there are emotional issues.
Traumas. Deep down within us.
Deep down
in our
within,
bones.
Within our very kidneys, our reins,
Yeah.
our joints and our marrows.
Dr. Joy DeGruy, and this was in 2015, I was still the executive director of the Harvey Foundation, and I was, for years I had been dealing with, the program focused on boys coming from single-parent households, and so female-headed single-parent households. And so as the executive director, I would sit and be privy in conversations with our counselors who were on site during our camps. And so all of the emotional trauma, the loss, the grief, the undealt with loss, grief, mourning relationships that we've never gotten a chance to mourn, all of the molestation that was happening,
the rape.
And so all these sexual traumas, all these things that were happening, I was wondering, I was sitting up here like, what is it in us as Black people that has caused us to react and live our lives in this manner? And so it led me to the teachings and the work of Dr. Joy DeGruy, who wrote the book Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome. And Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome was a book written, I want to say back in 2008, but she was a professor at Portland University. And in the book, Dr. DeGruy talks about the traumas, right, that we've experienced in our lives and how it's been transferred in our DNA, right? Because if you are a Black woman, right, your whole life is basically spent holding your breath.
Yes.
You're holding your breath for your safety of your children. You're holding your breath when you walk into the store and being racially profiled. You're holding your breath when the police are behind you. You're holding your breath as your husband walks out the door, boyfriend walks out. You're holding your breath as you see violence in your community, right?
Yes.
And so your whole life is holding your breath.
You're holding your breath when you see your cell phone, his cell phone, and he's been communicating with another woman.
Oh well, oh Lord. Wait a minute now.
But we don't think that's trauma.
And that's the thing.
And all the anxiety that comes with it.
And what we've had to do, what we've had to see, police brutality, all these things, lynchings, murders, traumas in our communities. And so then all of that, we've never had a chance to grieve. We've never had a chance to mourn. We go back to work. We had to go back to the field. We had to go, we were kidnapped from our land, put in slave ships, held in slave dungeons on the coast, awaiting what was going to be our fate. And so from that, right, now you are supposed to live a normal, healthy life. But look at, they got PTSD for people who come back from Iraq and Afghanistan,
Almost
right?
definitely.
They just been on a tour of duty for a year. But what if you've been experiencing that trauma for hundreds of years?
Well, even Willie Lynch had stated to the slave masters that if you do this to them, it will last up to 300 generations, years. And it's still prevalent. That was in 1712. And it's still, because it's passed down. You see what I'm saying?
And so we've been masking through, well, look at me, I got stars on the ceiling, I got a rave. Look at me, I got the new Birkin. Look at me, you see the Chanel, we know how to position the Chanel bag right in the picture on Instagram. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We know how to show you the YSL like right in front,
and
right?
you're defined by the brand of the clothes and
because
the
that's supposed to
shoes.
make me feel better. Because look, if you can see me, just see me, see my value. See how beautiful I am. See how much money I got.
But you're really looking at the Michael Kors. You're looking at his richness. You're looking at his ideas. What about your value? What about your ideas?
The label should show you where my value is, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
the label should show you that.
Brandi, we have a question. What's the question? Oh.
So we have two questions. The first question is, what advice would you give to someone who is trying to reconnect their mind, body, and soul from a broken home where the father or mother is absent?
The father or mother or and mother?
Or mother.
Father or mother. I'll let you go first.
Well, I think that, one of the things, I mean, I'm always going to recommend therapy. I'm always going to recommend talking to somebody. And I'm not necessarily, the biggest proponent of pastoral counseling. I think that can be wonderful at times, but giving somebody a scripture and telling me to go pray about it is not going to work. I lived my whole life. I grew up in the church. I was deeply rooted in the Baptist church all of my life. And so I would definitely tell you to, one, go talk to somebody. I think journaling is a way to get your feelings out. But I think you have to start to uncover how this has deeply affected your life. I think you have to look at the feelings that you've had and been carrying around with you, and what has has that been making you feel? If you don't honor that feeling and you keep suppressing it down, it's going to find its way back up to the top.
And feelings is not only just suppress, it become repressed. Just what you're saying, because I agree wholeheartedly. Grew up in the church all my life, Baptist, scriptures or whatever. And then I'm a clinical therapist as well. So when I started my Healing for My Soul journey from a spiritual life and relationship coaching standpoint, one thing that I do is bring the clinical therapeutic process and the spiritual aspect of the word to help you see yourself.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So that's why my thing is tearing down these walls of religion and all this faulty thinking that you going in there thinking you're going to get some results. And when you bring your black ass home, it's still the same.
Listen.
Come on now, let's just tell the truth.
Listen.
And so then you scared to go to therapy over a clinical therapist, and then you don't want to pay. That's the main thing with black folks. You don't want to pay for your shit. No, I'm so serious.
I don't really want to have to pay for that.
But I'm going to go, I get it all the time. I had a workshop. I'm doing a workshop on how to. All my stuff is how to. The damn workshop is $30. The woman talking about I don't have $30, but I promise you, you got shoes, you got purses,
you got bundles,
you got all kind of stuff.
You got bundles, you got 22 inches worth of bundles in your head. you find a way to pay for the things that are important to you.
And my answer to this is that you've got to first see your own value and your worth for investing.
Yeah.
Investing, because the reason why you go to the church and just get a scripture is because the only reason why predominantly they doing it is because you putting your tithe and your offering there, and then first of all, half of them you can't even get to no more.
Listen,
because they too famous, high and pious,
and half of them is untrustworthy.
And half of and
they
need
sitting on somebody's couch.
They need healing too.
Exactly.
You're so busy looking at the pastor that you don't see that he or she is a man or a woman. They have abandonment issues. Their marriage still are just trying to fix one another. The father,
the pastor.
You see what I'm saying?
He's the God.
Yes, and you got to see who he created you to be.
Absolutely.
You have to go back to the source of who he is and who he created you to be. That's what spiritual coaching is about, spiritual life and relationship, and it has the therapeutic component to it. You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And that's what emotional healing is about, because it's hard out here. You know, I've spoken to white women, I've spoken to black women, and white women want the therapy and the black women want the purses.
Listen, and white women are in there getting recalibrated every week, because that's what therapy is. It's not just about showing like, oh, I got all these problems. It's about, as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, as a wife, as a mother, I need to go be able to talk to somebody unbiasedly and get, recalibrated. I'm just recalibrating once a week.
And because we're going to go when I say this, because we're going to take another break. But Brandi, because they call me Pastor D, they supposed to think I'm supposed to hear they shit for free. Now,
you're going to end on that one.
I'm going to end on that one. We'll be right back. D Speaks You Think.
This is Davetta D. Collins, your spiritual leader and life and relationship coach. And I'm so excited because I have an awesome show that's just for you right here on Rolling Out Live. Yes, that's it, Rolling Out Live, every Tuesday from 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. You were going to get insight, because when D speaks, you think. We're going to have real talk about life and relationships, because we got real problems, we got some real issues, but guess what? When D speaks, you think you're going to come up with a real solution about your life and relationships. So I want you to join me. Don't forget, every Tuesday from 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. on Rolling Out Live, and I have a special segment just for you. It's called Dear D. That means you can ask your questions. You can get insight about your life with specificity. So I want you to join me, because it's going to be live. And follow me on Facebook at Dunamis D. And you can also hit me up or follow me on Instagram at D Speaks You Think. See you soon.
What's up, guys? This is Lipstick and Cognac. Starting on Tuesday, you guys will be on rollingout.com and on our Facebook page, giving you all the tea you need for relationships. Here to help you out, man. Make sure y'all tune in from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Want to watch your favorite talk show, Lipstick and Cognac. here with that dynamic duo. You don't want to miss Lipstick Shadio Comics and just Cognac Till Like It Is personality, man. It's going to be a great time. Make sure y'all tune in. Tune in on RollingOut.com. There's ROLLINGOUT.com. And also on Facebook, Rolling Out Facebook, man. It's going to be a great time. Y'all don't want to miss this. Great laugh, great talks, realness, truth. Man, we ain't race expert. We know what we talking about. So make sure y'all tune in. RollingOut.com, man. Lipstick and Cognac.
On D Speaks You Think, I am laughing because this is Dunamis D, because I'm laughing because when we came on, Brandi was like, well, you know what, I'm gonna try not to cuss, but Brandi, I done cuss more than you do.
I have really not cussed. So actually, Miss D, your notes were for yourself. Okay. Those show notes that you emailed me were for you.
Oh my God, because you done started something up in me.
Because this is powerful stuff that we're talking about.
Yeah,
this is a wonderful, when we talk about loving a woman and loving a black woman, like that's the thing. Like when you hear this black women have attitudes and black women, come with all this stuff, it's like, hell yeah, we come with stuff.
Yes.
If your whole life has been about holding your breath and your whole life has been about experiencing trauma and just sweeping it under the rug, and your whole life has been abandonment and rejection, and your whole life has been succumbing, white supremacy and systematic racism and institutionalized racism. Well, wouldn't you be a little angry? Wouldn't you be a little on edge? Wouldn't you meet a Negro with some attitude sometimes? Wouldn't I expect you to do what you say you're going to do because the world isn't doing what they say they're going to do for me?
And I'm really my anger is because I'm very empathic about our healing.
Yeah.
And I'm tired of seeing us being bamboozled. I'm tired of seeing us just walk in a religious setting thinking we're going to have change. And at the end of the day and the beginning of the morning, our children are still being impacted. I'm very tired of other people prospering, but you're still staying the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm tired of us looking for people who are great. I love your dad, but hell, I got a mission too.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I have a purpose too. So we so busy looking at, Steve Harvey, that we can't see our own self and our own greatness.
Our own light.
And that's why I respect you. I commend you.
Well, thank you. You know what? I think that it's like, Marianne Williams said, it's not our darkness, but it's our light that frightens us. So many of us are so afraid to shine our light. So many of us are afraid to actually share what we know, actually teach from our own experiences, because we think, well, don't nobody want to hear that. But there is somebody in the room who is experiencing the same thing. It's like when I talk about abandonment, guess what? I know that I sing from the choir of the wounded.
Yeah.
I know that I'm not the only one who's been wounded.
You alto, I'm soprano.
Listen, you know that is my note, honey. I was always alto, honey. Honey, I am the bomb doo-wopper, honey. Yes. Ooh. Honey. You can hold me a note, honey.
But it's the truth. I want to talk about Brandi because, oh my God, I'm just loving you because that connection of the healing. We talked about on break, and y'all probably heard us because I was still on live, how we are in our space. You're in your space. You're steadily feeding yourself. Yeah. You're not out there ripping and running. You're reading books and you are processing for yourself, and you are doing the work, lifestyle for yourself. And then you are stepping out. And when you step out, and I'm doing the same thing, in my little community and in my cubbyhole, and I love being by myself. But when I step out, I am worthy of my hire.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your gift pay wages.
Yeah.
And so many people are out there doing work and you paying them, and they ain't doing the work on the inside.
Oh my God. Listen, I sit on these panels and all these very influential people.
I can
they got
imagine.
all the millions of followers, they on television shows, they have all this stuff, and they're very highly recognizable. And then, oftentimes these are the most empty people that when the mic turns on, they have nothing to say.
Yes.
Because your whole life is photoshopped.
Yes.
You're really not who you post to be.
Right.
Right. And when people see me, like, I'm who I post to be.
That's right.
You're not getting photoshopped. That's my stomach, then my arms.
Yeah.
That's my hard work.
Yeah.
Those are my words on paper. If you subscribe to my newsletter, those are my words. Everything I've written in my ebook, all those things are like, I'm who I post to be.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Come on now.
And so what happens is we get this fantasy of people.
I'm gonna make that
and we
a post.
buy into
Yeah.
it. Was on Instagram or some girl like,
I
are you
like
who you
that.
supposed to be?
I like that.
But, but seriously, we fantasize and romanticize these people, and we put them on these pedestals, and then it's like they make mistakes in front of the camera, or they get in front of you and they don't want to take a picture with you, or they want to, because they're human, right?
Yeah,
But we romanticize them in such a way that when they show up in the nitty-gritty of who they are, now we're disappointed. Because we had expectations. It was like when you asked me when I first came in, like, can you talk about your expectations? I've learned not to have
any expectations.
expectations on people.
Yeah.
So just show and prove that. So even like when I'm studying at home and I'm reading and I'm listening to podcasts and I'm watching videos and sermons and all these different things to fortify myself.
And feed yourself.
It's so that when I show up.
There you go. Come on now.
You're going to get all your money's worth and then
That's
some.
it,
You're
that's
going to
it.
cut my check and say, I should have
That's
paid
right,
you more.
that's
I
right,
wish
that's
I had
right,
more.
that's right.
Because I over-deliver.
Yes.
Because it's who I am.
It's like throwing up. You know what I mean? You have taken in. And the beautiful part is that when you have your space to yourself, you don't have all these ears and influences and conversations and empty talk. You know what I mean? I mean, because we're blessed, Brandi, to be able to live and be in our own space that's clean. I ain't been in your space, but I could just know it's clean.
It's definitely clean.
You know, it's clean.
Yeah, it's definitely clean.
Because you can't be healed and be junky.
You just can't.
You can't be healed and be nasty.
You
if
just
you're
can't.
nasty, you need healing.
Yeah, like I write, at home, so like I have to have a clear space so I can write.
Now.
Like if my space is not clean, if it's not organized, if it's cluttered, if it's things around, that I have to be able to remove everything.
Yes.
It's like I can't write if I have dishes in the sink. Like people under, like I can't write if I have dishes in the sink.
I just can't.
I
just can't.
It has to be very clear. Everything has to be clean
Most
on the
definitely.
counter for me to sit down and write.
Most definitely.
Because I won't be able to clearly give you.
Because my mind is not going to be. I'm still thinking about that. So I have to be able to give my all. When I sit down and write my books or whatever, my space have to be clean. It has to be tranquil. I don't need no negative energy around me.
I didn't burn my sage,
I done
my
burn,
Palo
right.
Santo.
I got my
incense
candles,
going.
my incense going. And you know what? And I don't have a TV on. I don't need TV.
Oh, no.
I need. I am so in tune with myself. Silence is my wonderful friend.
Yeah, in the silence, in the stillness, is where we find God. I went on a silent meditation retreat last year, and for 5 days, I went to the mountains of Boone, North Carolina, and I left my job in August, and I walked away. I had a little severance or whatever, and I was like, okay, God, what's my next move? Like, what am I gonna do? And I kept being like, going to like silent meditation retreat. And I was like, nah, God, that ain't really what you trying to do. I'm trying to go to a beach, you know what I'm saying? Like lay on the sand in my swimsuit, And I kept and I remember like getting in the shower one night and I had slammed my laptop down because I was like, I'm not going to a silent meditation retreat. And I get in the shower and all I kept, hearing, and you can call it spirit, you can call it God, you can call it the divine, whatever.
You're good. You call it
whatever. And to get what you've never had, you got to do what you've never done.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, hell no, I'm not doing that. I get literally, it was 1:30 in the morning. I wake up 4 hours later to go to the gym. And I'm like, I'm driving down 20, no music on, to get what you never had. You got to do the things you never done. And I ended up booking this silent meditation retreat. And at first I was going to do it I saw this one in California, like Deepak Chopra. And I was like, oh, girl, Deepak in there. Like, I definitely need to go there. And then it was like, girl, get your life. Get your life. Go to this one over here in Boone, North Carolina. It's 5 hours outside of Atlanta. You can drive there. And in the drive, you can start to get your mind right for what you about to encounter.
Yes, you got to get ready for it.
I went up there, and I was thinking it was going to be some I'm not about to get some major breakthrough thing. It's not about to be some emotional thing for me. And I remember sitting in one of the meditations that we did, and it's 8 hours a day of yoga meditation, right? And so, the first 2 days of the retreat that I did, you could talk. The last 3 days were all silence. So you go into the meditation and then it's we're in silence. So I remember before we go into silence, I'm sitting in the meditation. I'm like, and he's like, whatever you feel. Whatever you feel. if you laugh, if you cry, whatever you feel, just feel like you're feeling. So I'm sitting up here like, dude, ain't nobody about to be laughing or crying up in here during this meditation. I'm just about to do this meditation. And literally, we start the meditation, and we're probably like 40 minutes into a meditation, and I am bawling. Like, when I tell you, like, the ugliest cry I could possibly get was like, like, stop making noise. I'm kind of like, oh, God, I'm like the only black lady up in there, you know? So I'm like, get your life together, girl. And I remember, like, coming out of that, and during that time, I released the relationship, you know, that I had recently ended with the older gentleman, because we were, you know, a part of each other's lives for years, you know, all of my adult life. And I finally released that relationship. In that meditation, I felt the freedom, I felt the weight of it, I felt the shame of that relationship come off. And I was like, okay, like, if I ain't come here for nothing else, I came here for that.
For that, that's it.
That's it.
That's
just
it.
for that.
And
then what I ended up, you know, over the 3 days, by the end of it, and I remember being angry during that time. I was so angry when I went silent. People don't understand, like, I was mad as hell. I contemplated leaving. I was like, just get in your car and go home. Ain't nobody go
Healing will do that. It will
and
bring
I was
up
like,
that.
but I'm going to know if I leave. I'm going to know if I leave. I'm going to know I didn't finish it. And so I stayed, and I'm so glad I did, because what it taught me, you know, when I stood on that mountain one morning and I'm looking, I mean, like, really in this, like, vastness of God's creation. And I'm like, I am just a part of this. I get to be a part of this. I get to experience this. I get to bear witness to these leaves changing. I get to bear witness to this life. I get to bear witness to this breath. I get to bear witness to this. My God, I am so grateful. And so with that, it totally changed my life, you know, just about silence and what it does for me and what's created in my life.
I commend you because seriously, being in a space and a time by yourself. I didn't go to North Carolina, but I was in Birmingham, Alabama.
Hey, wherever
I was
wherever
by myself in that little bitty one apartment. I went from a 4 or 5 bedroom home to a 1-2 bedroom apartment in Birmingham, Alabama, from Chicago, Illinois. 1 year and 9 months exactly.
Wow.
That I had to be after my breakup and after the business folding. And it was just so much that was going on. But if I hadn't have stole away in the peace and the silence, nobody knocking on your door, nobody, you go to the store, nobody know who you are.
Exactly.
Ain't that a beautiful thing?
Yeah.
But it wasn't easy.
Yeah. No.
I was so angry. You know what I mean? And that anger had to come up and out, but it changed my whole life.
Yeah. And that's the thing that people, you know, we're so afraid of confronting that darkness within us. We're so afraid to confront the ugly parts of us. Like, because we're so used in this day and age of showing the highlight reel of our lives. Well, is it a postable moment? Is it postable? And so if it's not postable, we don't know how to handle it. We don't know what to do. But when you start to confront the ugliness, the deep darkness of you, because we all got it. I'm not walking around here like I'm some freaking, you know, worker all the time. You know, there are times I do not want to be bothered. There are times when people come up to me and I'm like, yo, like, this is not the day. Like, I'm not nice today.
But that's your truth, though.
But
that's your truth. Allow yourself to be true to thyself. Who's perfect? That's what I said. I like me. I can be loud. I can sometimes don't want to be bothered. I just want to be by myself. I don't want to talk. You know what I'm saying? But face your truth.
But that's the part, like, that shows us how multifaceted we are. Like, I'm not one-sided, you know? I have a platform of Beyond Her where I tell people about, you know, your greatness awaits, that the journey beyond begins within, and it totally is the journey beyond. It begins within.
It begins within.
And so when you start to know that because it begins within, there are moments and days that I don't feel like I can even give to somebody else.
That's right.
There are days that I feel like I don't have it today. And I don't have a word for you today.
And you have to admit that and say, you know what? I don't have a word for you today.
Hey, friend.
What's wrong with that?
Hey, friend. I don't even know what. I don't know today, you know? Or those are the days that I have to retreat inside.
I'm a woman, too. I ain't feeling it today. You know what I'm saying? I still can get horny, and I ain't feeling that either. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, I didn't know this life. I tell people all the time, like, I didn't choose this life; it chose me.
Right.
Like, I did not choose this life. I'm telling you, I was so like, I thought I was so content being a party girl, having these the sexual relationships, and like, for me not to even be like not drinking, not smoking, not having sex, like, I really was not trying to be celibate either. But this life, I tell you, it chose me.
But that's the point. Is you're not, and that's the point. You're not trying to be because the life chose you. For those who are trying to be, and I tell people that's the thing. You're trying.
Oh, I was, because it was some years. I was 27 years old. I remember sitting on this stage in Muscle Shoals in Alabama, and I remember being like with this like trying to fit into this religious mode, right?
Yeah.
I was trying so hard as a speaker. At that time I felt like I was being called to go to divinity school, and so I had deferred my admissions to Emory 3 times. I know they got my record of I've deferred admissions to Emory School of Divinity 3 times. I've been admitted. And I was like, yo, this is, I think this is a path for me. And I remember like sitting on the stage, like talking about celibacy, but really I wasn't celibate. I just hadn't had sex in 3 months.
What
like, I wasn't celibate. I just hadn't had sex. Okay. I just hadn't slipped and fallen on the right one at that time, but, and I remember being up there, I'm a fraud. I remember this girl coming in the bathroom was like, I just want to encourage you on your journey of celibacy, because it's been 8 years. And I was like, God damn, 8 years. Somebody get her. Like, help her. 8 years she has sex.
Because you can even use that to cover and mask up that emotional pain.
Yeah. And now it really has just been like, I understand, the power of my sexual energy. I understand the power of it, and like, I didn't want to continue to give my body to somebody who was not worthy of getting my body. Like, you're not even worth. Like, I'm about to take you to the next stratosphere, homie. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm about to give you the keys. So this is the kingdom, okay?
And the thing, it's the kingdom. This the kingdom. And the thing about it, you just don't want to do it to be doing it and get a nut. Then you get up and you're so unfulfilled.
And you roll out and you like,
why?
And then he say something stupid to you, and you
like you want to shoot yourself in the foot,
like,
because you should have known better.
You eat Popeyes, and like, I don't. So, like, what are we even talking about? Like,
we're gonna take a break. We're gonna come back to the last segment. Oh my God, I hope you all are enjoying D Speaks You Think with the one and only Brandi Harvey. Her quest is healing emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically.
Yeah.
All that,
let's
get into the physical. We're going to come right back. D Speaks You Think. We'll be right back.
This is Davetta D. Collins, your spiritual leader and life and relationship coach. And I'm so excited because I have an awesome show that's just for you right here on Rolling Out Live. Yes, that's it, Rolling Out Live, every Tuesday from 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. You were going to get insight, because when D speaks, you think. We're going to have real talk about life and relationships, because we got real problems. We got some real issues. But guess what? When D speaks, you think you're going to come up with the real solution about your life and relationships. So I want you to join me. Don't forget, every Tuesday from 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. on Rolling Out Live. And I have a special segment just for you. It's called Dear D. That means you can ask your questions. You can get insight about your life with specificity. So I want you to join me, because it's going to be live. And follow me on Facebook at Dunamis D. And you can also hit me up or follow me on Instagram at D Speaks You Think. See you soon.
What's up, guys? This is Lipstick and Cognac. Starting on Tuesday, you guys will be on rollingout.com and on our Facebook page, giving you all the tea you need for relationships. Here to help you out, man. Make sure y'all tune in from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Want to watch your favorite talk show, Lipstick and Cognac. Here with that dynamic duo. You don't want to miss Lipstick Shadio comments and just Cognac Till Like It Is personality, man. It's going to be a great time. Make sure y'all tune in. tune in on rollngout.com. There's ROLLINGOUT.com. And also on Facebook, Rolling Out Facebook, man. It's going to be a great time. Y'all don't want to miss this. Great laugh, great talks, realness, truth. Man, we ain't really some expert. We know what we talking about. So make sure y'all tune in. Rollngout.com, man. Lipstick and Cognac.
Well, welcome back to D Speaks You Think. We have come to the final segment of D Speaks You Think right here on Rolling Out Live. But we have a question that we just don't want to ignore, so we're going to let this be our spiritual, inspirational part with Brandi and Dunamis D. D Speaks You Think. Go ahead, O.
Why do you think African Americans are leading these different statistics, meaning the ones that you guys were talking about?
That we are the
earlier
high
in
on
the
everything.
show? Do you think holding seminars and workshops about the different traumas with HBCUs, historically black colleges and universities, will fix these issues?
Okay. Brandi, I'll let you go first.
Well, yes, I think to the second part of your question, do I think it would be helpful to hold seminars about traumas at HBCUs? Absolutely. I went to HBCU for my first half of college. I went to Hampton University, but I graduated from the Ohio State University. But I do, because I think if I knew sooner what I was up against, like why I was feeling the way I felt, like what was even considered trauma, because most of us look at trauma as like either being sexually assaulted, or being like a victim of gun violence, or having some sort of violence committed against you. I think that those are the primary ways we look at trauma, not understanding that emotional trauma is really impactful in our lives. But I think we're the leading cause, because I think that as Black women, we've just never been able, there was this piece done years ago, like It's a Strong Black Women Dead, and it was on the internet. It was like this viral thing that got passed around through emails and all that kind of stuff when I was in college. And, Black women have not had the luxury of having the nervous breakdowns like our white counterparts. We haven't had the luxuries of going on sabbaticals. We haven't had the luxuries of, falling out of our everyday lives, because we are the last rung on the ladder. And we're the ones in our families.
And Brandi, we have been given, and it goes back to what we were talking about at the very beginning, the absentee of the fathers. You know what I'm saying? We have been put in the position because we did sleep with the man. The man was there for whatever reason, but we end up having to take all the responsibility. So we haven't had the privilege to really tending to ourselves. And then we go and run to the religious sector to look for help, and they're just as broken as we are. So even to answer that question even more, I think that this educational seminar need to be, and I'm talking about not just because you got an organization, when you are really ready to embrace truth yourself, you will speak truth. And then when we need to take it into Black colleges, and we need to take it into Black churches. We don't need a sermon. We need an educational seminar that will shock the consciousness of Black people. That's why D Speaks You Think is coming from the subconscious that make you think. And when you think about it, you got to face it. So it's not going to fix it if we don't want to face it. And this is why we are here, because we are awakening this. Am I right, Brandi?
Absolutely.
Awakening.
Absolutely.
We could talk about this all day long. And we can go on Instagram, we can go on Periscope, we can go on Facebook, we can come to your front door. But until you take ownership, and you want to face it for you, Brandi got to face it for her, D got to face it for her. You know what I'm saying? My daddy ain't Steve Harvey.
And even
He's
if he
David
was,
Andrews,
you would still have your
and
own
I still
stuff.
would have to face it. It doesn't make we all have our pain. So we want you to continue to follow us right here on D Speaks You Think. You are registered for the workshop, because all that we're talking about, we do have educational workshops that's going to teach you on how to do what you need to do, and somebody can just tell you what to do. All right? Follow us, Dunamis Woman. Brandi, how can they follow you?
Me on Instagram. I am Brandi Harvey. I am Brandi Harvey on Instagram, and my wellness brand BeyondHer.co on Instagram. BeyondHer.co on Instagram. Subscribe to my newsletter every Tuesday. I got to go write it now.
There you go. Likewise. Brandi, I hope that you'll be back with us sometime in the near future.
I absolutely will.
Because it takes more than one time. Thank you for your time. D Speaks You Think, Dunamis Woman. Have a great day.